Does trust still feel like this vague thing in your business, like something you earn, but not something you actually built into the way you work? Because what I'm seeing in the agencies that are landing clients faster, keeping them longer, and growing with way more sustainability is that trust isn't just a soft skill anymore. It's a system. It's something you've designed into your offers, your processes, and your relationships. That shift from treating trust as something you earn to something you design changed everything for me. And it's something I help other agency owners do now too, especially the ones who are ready to stop over-delivering just to keep a client. So if trust still feels like an abstract concept in your business, something you hope for but haven't actually built into your systems, this episode is for you. Because today, we're breaking down 5 specific ways smart agencies are making trust a structural advantage. Here's what we're going to talk about: how a small paid offer can actually be the smartest way to land a client right now, especially in a cautious market; what it looks like when your team starts guiding clients instead of just doing tasks; how sharing more of your thinking, not just your deliverables, can make clients smarter, secure, and more loyal. And yeah, we're going to talk about AI, specifically how being honest about where you're using it can actually build more trust with your clients. These are trust-building moves that don't just feel good, they make retention easier, sales smoother, and your agency more resilient. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Small But Mighty Agency Podcast. If you want to grow an agency to 7 figures and beyond without working more hours in your business, you're in the right place. I'm your host, Audrey Joy Kwan. I know what it takes to build an agency, including supporting an agency owner in selling and exiting. I also have a master's degree in communications, specializing in organizational development. My team and I have worked behind the scenes of multiple 7-figure agencies and have coached and consulted with over 150 agency owners. All this to say, when you join us on the Small But Mighty Agency Podcast, you get real-world experience and practical tips that help you work less, earn more, and lead with integrity. So let's go. Hey friends, welcome back to the Small But Mighty Agency Podcast. One theme I keep coming back to in conversations with agency owners, it's this: trust is the new growth engine. Agencies that design for it don't just land clients. They keep them, attract more of them, and build stronger businesses in the process. But the way trust is built isn't always obvious. I see it every day inside Agency Together, the community I run for agency owners who want to grow without the ick. They're not chasing vanity metrics or playing the old school bro marketing game. They're building businesses rooted in values and in strong, lasting relationships with their clients, with peers, and with each other. They're leaning into hidden levers of trust that help them stand out without having to chase leads. And the result? Growth that feels sustainable, aligned, and authentic. So today, I want to share 5 of those hidden ways. These are things I've seen in my clients' businesses, in my own agency experience, and inside Agency Together. I think at least one will resonate with you right where you are. So let's get into it. Number 1, start small to build big trust. Most agencies go straight for the retainer. They want the big monthly recurring revenue contract upfront. And yes, recurring revenue is the goal. But right now, with budgets under scrutiny and clients precautious, leading with a micro offer, sometimes called an in-the-door offer, can actually get you further faster. Here's why. It lowers the barrier to entry. It gives a potential client a way to experience how you think and the value you bring without requiring a big leap of faith. And I know micro offers aren't a brand new concept. You may have heard of them before, but here's what's important right now. In this market, in this season, clients are far more conservative about how they're spending money on marketing. They're more cautious, more selective, and more skeptical. And if we're not meeting the market where it's at, we're missing opportunities to build trust. That's why micro offers matter more today than they did 3 years ago. Even though we all know that monthly recurring revenue is critical for agency growth, getting there isn't always about asking for the big leap up front. Think of it like a ladder. Most agencies are asking clients to jump straight to the 3rd or 4th rung. But trust is built when you give them the first rung, the first small paid step that lets them see what's possible with you. So what does that look like? It could be a strategy blueprint that maps out the next 90 days. It could be a diagnostic audit that shows gaps or next steps, or maybe a short sprint that delivers a clear outcome. The key is that it's paid. You're not giving your work away for free. You're packaging something that delivers real value while making it easy for clients to step into your world. And once they've taken that first rung and experienced what you can do, moving into a larger engagement becomes natural. Trust doesn't start with a leap, it starts with a step. Number 2, be the guy who sees around the corner. Clients don't hire you just to do tasks. And honestly, as an agency owner or service provider, that's not what you want either. Every agency owner I know is building a business because they want long-term clients who look to them for higher level strategic thinking. No one sets out to be just the hat. But if we're not intentional about how we approach client relationships, it's easy to slip into that order taker role, the one who simply implements, executes, and checks the boxes, instead of being the partner who helps the client think differently. The truth is, clients trust you more when you show them what's around the bend. Your job as a partner, as a strategist, is to see what they can't see. And that can take two different forms. Maybe it's because you know their industry deeply in ways they don't, and you can give them an advantage. Or maybe it's because you've got your finger on the pulse of what's happening in the market, and you can help them anticipate shifts before they hit. Think about it from the other side. When you hire someone, how valuable is it when they point out things you couldn't see coming? It's a relief. It lets you lean back knowing someone else has their finger on the pulse, so you don't have to always be on that high alert. Who does not want that as a client? That's what it feels like to work with a guy who sees around the corner. Now, here's another layer of this. Sometimes seeing around the corner means saying no, not in a harsh way, but gently and firmly steering your client away from a path that won't serve them and giving them reasoning behind it. As a business owner, it's easier for you to do this because you're closer to the client and you feel the responsibility, but it gets trickier when you're empowering your team. Take account managers as an example. Their KPI is usually retention, and when your job performance is measured by keeping the client happy, saying no feels risky. What if the client pushes back? What if they leave? That's why part of being the guide is building the skill of saying no and training your team to do the same. It's a communication skill, not a personality trait. It's about delivering a no that's rooted in care, context, and strategy. I like to put it this way. Yes builds comfort, no builds trust. And when you position yourself and your team as the guide who sees around the corners, clients stop treating you like a vendor. They start treating you like partner. That's when trust deepens. Number 3, make clients smarter along the way. Here's something most agencies overlook. Trust is built when clients see that the way you work makes their lives easier and they can walk away smarter because of it. The challenge is, as agency owners, we're so used to doing things that feel second nature to us. We forget how much value there is in the process itself. So we quietly go about our work, creating little systems, shortcuts, and frameworks, but we don't always stop to show them to clients. Sometimes it's like the simple things, reusable templates, frameworks, or a checklist that streamlines their internal process. Sometimes it's bigger. Maybe over the years you've worked with the client, you spotted patterns and built out a internal system or process or decision tree that helps you deliver work more efficiently and strategically. I had a client in this exact situation. They've been working with one of their accounts for several years, and they wanted to justify both retaining that account longer and raising their fees. Now, over time, they built an internal process, and that internal process was a decision tree to predict how that client would think about campaigns and requests. They had essentially captured the client's preferences in a structured way that helped them move faster and make better decisions. The catch, they never shared that with the clients. And that's the missed opportunity, because when you bring that kind of framework out into open, two really powerful things happen. You show the client the why behind your work. They see that you're not just executing, you're thinking strategically on their behalf. That is so important. Number 2, you make them smarter. They now understand their own tendencies and decision-making process way more clearly, and they can carry that insight into other areas of the business. When you do this, you create stickiness. Imagine that client trying to replace you with another provider. It would be almost impossible because your process has captured and clarified things even they can't articulate. And that's what making a client smarter looks like. It's not about lecturing or overwhelming them with detail. It's about surfacing the insights, systems, and frameworks you've naturally built and showing them the thinking that makes their lives easier. And when clients feel smarter because of you, this one thing always happens. They trust your expertise more because they can see the depth of your thinking. When you make a client look good, trust skyrocket. They want to keep you around, and yes, that often leads to new opportunities opening up. Number 4, define what winning looks like. Here's the thing. Clients often come into a relationship with their own idea of success, but it's usually either too vague, like more lead, or too narrow, like we just need this campaign to work, or it's anchored to the wrong benchmark. If you don't help shape and define what winning really looks like, they'll default to measuring you against whatever number stands out most for them. That's a dangerous place to be as an agency because it means the high point becomes the benchmark. If you hit an exceptional result once, that suddenly becomes a new normal in your client's mind and everything else feels like a letdown, even if the results are objectively strong. I'll give you an example. A client of mine works with a brand that hit a 18-to-1 return on ad spend. Incredible, right? That's the kind of results you celebrate. But here's where things get tricky. Once that number was hit, the client naturally wanted to hold it. Anything less started to feel like a dip, even though performance between 17-to-1 to 10-to-1 was still strong and sustainable for the long term. This is where defining what winning looks like becomes so important. It's not about lowering expectations. It's about tying your work to what matters most to the client and showing them you have proof points to back it up. The biggest missed opportunity shows up in the sales or discovery call. Most agencies ask, what are your goals? And leave it there. But the better questions, the ones that actually help you define what a win looks like for each client, sounds more like, what are you hoping to achieve? Who have you worked with before to try to get there? What were you expecting from that relationship and what actually happened? How much did you invest? And how did that investment perform for you? These questions give you insight into not just the client's goals, but also their expectations, their past disappointments, and what winning really means to them. When you define success this way with proof points, a range of outcomes, and context from the very first conversation, you avoid the trap of having to resell your value month after month. Instead, you set the stage for a healthier, more trusting relationship. And here's the bigger truth. Defining what winning looks like gives your clients confidence and stability. It gives them clarity and it gives them the language to explain success inside their own business. And that's what makes you indispensable. So remember, trust isn't only built in the highs. It's built on how you frame those wins from the beginning, how you prepare your clients for the dips, and how you guide them through it. Number 5, demystify AI. If there's one area where trust can quickly be lost or gained right now, it's how you talk about AI. The reality is AI is already woven into the way most marketing agencies operate. Whether it's streamlining research, supporting content workflows, or helping with data analysis, it's here. But here's the catch. Your clients know that too. They're reading about it, experimenting with it themselves, and wondering how much of what they're paying for is being touched by AI. And that's why silence around AI erodes trust. If you don't talk about how you're using it, your clients will fill in the blanks on their own, and usually not in your favor. Here's where the opportunity is. Demystify it. Show your clients where you're using AI, why you're using it, and how you're protecting quality. And be clear about where your team's expertise comes in. The strategy, the creativity, the judgment, how AI supports that work instead of replacing it. For example, imagine walking a client through your process. You might say, we use AI to speed up the first draft of keyword research so we can cover more ground quickly. Then our strategists step in to analyze the context, weigh priorities, and make the calls that AI can't, like what matters most for your specific market. From there, our writers take the insights and shape them into messaging that matches your brand voice, because AI alone can't capture the nuance of tone or strategy that resonates with your audience. This level of openness is powerful because it shows two things. You're efficient enough to use modern tools, but discerning enough to apply human expertise where it really counts. Think of it this way. If you keep sweeping AI under the rug, eventually the pile of dust gets so big, someone will trip over it. So it's better to name it, explain it, and position it as part of your process. When you're transparent about your use of AI, you actually strengthen your value proposition. You show clients that you're not afraid of the tools shaping the industry and that you know how to use them responsibly. That combination, openness plus expertise, is what builds trust. Keep this in mind. Your clients aren't paying you to avoid AI. They're paying you to help them navigate a world where AI exists. And if you can explain how you use it to elevate their outcomes, you're not just future-proofing your agency, you're deepening the trust that keeps clients coming back. All right, before we wrap up, let me quickly run through the 5 hidden ways you can build more trust right now. First, start small to build a big trust. Use micro offers that make it easier for clients to take that first step with you. Second, be the guide who sees around the corners. Don't just do the task, bring the foresight and courage your clients need. Third, make your clients smarter along the way. Share the thinking, the frameworks, the little systems that make lives easier. 4th, define what winning looks like. Set clear expectations so clients know what success really means with you. And 5th, demystify AI. Be open about where you use it, why it matters, and how your expertise makes the difference. The reality is, in this economy, with budgets under pressure and clients more cautious than ever, trust is the real growth engine. Agencies that build it don't just survive, they thrive. They land clients, they keep them, and they build stronger, more resilient businesses. And trust isn't built in big, flashy gestures. Sending gifts or remembering birthdays is thoughtful, but it's not what keeps clients with you for years. Trust is built in the daily, often hidden ways that you show up, like how you set expectations, how you guide, how you teach, and how you connect. That's also why spaces like the Agency Together Mixer exist. If you've never been to one, here's what it looks like. You'll meet other agency owners in interactive breakout rooms. You'll hear from a panel of 5 agency owners navigating what's happening on the ground right now. And most importantly, you'll have the chance to spark conversations that can turn into collaboration or opportunities down the road. Because as small but mighty agency owners, we're not meant to do this alone. We're often too close to our own challenges to see the opportunities right in front of us. The Mixer gives you that space to step back, get perspective, and uncover ideas and partnerships you can't always see on your own. So grab your spot. The link is in the show notes. I'd love to see you there. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me at the Small But Mighty Agency podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean the world to me if you hit the follow or subscribe button in your podcast app and share it with a friend. I'll see you on the next one.